Well, good morning everyone and welcome back. As you can see from behind me here, we have the big gear out today. I've hooked the drill up because I am planning to go drill a few of these paddocks, and I've hooked the Landini up to it. The reason being is this drill's pretty small, it doesn't need a lot of horsepower to pull it, and also I might be hopping off on and off a little bit, so this tractor's pretty easy. It doesn't have a door on it, don't need to do it behind the New Holland, that's probably a little bit excessive. And where I'm going is a little bit tight too, so this tractor might be a little bit easier to get around. But this is Mike the Builder's drill. I went and picked it up from him probably a couple of weeks ago now. It's a Conochet, it's an old Australian drill, and it's going to work just fine for what I want to use it for, which you'll see soon. But Lee dropped some seed off the other day. Here it is here, Agricom's Mohawker. So this is tetraploid, which means it's sort of like a shorter lasting ryegrass, but it should grow well. He actually dropped 4 bags off, but I've already put one in the drill. We'll go and whack another one in. Could probably get another bag in there. I reckon it's not too full. I might put one more in. Actually, I don't think I will. I might just leave it like that and see how far that goes, and then I'll just take a bag with me. That'll be the best idea, I reckon. Oh look, there's actually half a bag there. That's what I used yesterday. Oh, it's actually not a half a bag, it might be a quarter maybe. I might just chuck the rest of this one in. Good to go now. There's a bag still in the shed, but I'm going to leave that there because I think there's a little bit around here that I want to do, like where the cows are today. I want to undersow that. But I gave it a little go last night on a few little spots around here just to see how it went, and it actually went pretty well. So hopefully, all things considered, it's going to go good today too. This is the drive chain, and I might just take it off until I get there and then hook it back up again. That one's a bit bent, it'll be right. There's an old roller just sitting underneath that pine tree over there that I've used before, and I would like to hook it onto the tow eye there because it would be good to roll behind it, but I don't think I'm going to get around that corner, so I might hook it on later when the stuff around here I want to do and try that. That's where I'm heading though. I'm going to do all these paddocks down the bottom here, but this is the corner that's a little bit tight, and I didn't really feel like getting stuck with the roller on, so it might have been alright. Wasn't too bad. I don't think I would have got the roller around there though. Would have just clipped that Waratah. I've just put the drive wheel back on, so that controls how much seed we're putting out, and it's a pretty simple system. Like, there's just rollers in the box that drive the feed, and then they just fall down the tubes here. So it is pretty simple, and there's not much to it. Everything's pretty good, and this is the release. There's a spring there that sort of had it, but that should work. So if you pull that bit of string, it'll stop and start the feed, but that'll be good to go now. So that is putting seed down, and it's not doing it unless the drive wheel's going, which is just off the wheel there. See, that's the sprocket it goes off. But I did sort of guess what we are putting down, so maybe I'll just go from about there. I'm not sure how much is coming out. Mike had it a little bit high, and he said he was doing about a bag per hectare, so I want to do about 20 kilos a hectare, somewhere there, because there is a little bit of grass in this paddock. So if you're undersowing, I think they recommend going at about 18 kilos, and if you're going into sort of sprayed out stuff, go at about 25 to 30 possibly. I'm not quite sure if it's that high, but it is pretty scarce through the middle here, and that's why I'm undersowing it. But hopefully it'll come up. Maybe we'll run the bulls in here just to clean up whatever's here after I sow it. They should trample it in a little bit too. But yeah, we'll need to bring the roller down once I'm done, because we need that soil to seed contact as much as possible to get like the best result. Well, I've just finished this first paddock, so to stop the seed coming out, I'll just put that on, and there's still quite a bit left, but you can see it is going down there, so maybe I might whack it up just a little bit more, get a little bit more seed out, go somewhere like that. But it's done a pretty tidy job. It would be pretty handy with that roller on the back too, and there's definitely seed coming out. Like, you can see, look, there's a bit of seed there. So what I need to do now is just really just close that gap up, which the roller will do. But it is there, some more there, so something will grow hopefully. Obviously the drill's not flash and it's not new, but I think it's going to do the job. Like, there is seed in the ground, you've just seen that, so hopefully something's going to grow in here. And it is going to germinate, because these paddocks are pretty stuffed. Well, this one in particular is pretty bad. It sort of got pugged up that top end, and just really wet in here, so everything's real waterlogged. But I don't know if I'll get time today to do all three of them. I might go down to that end paddock because I need to turn around in there to go back anyway. Go and do that, and then I might try and do this one maybe tomorrow, something like that anyway. And there is number 2 done. It was actually quite bumpy and wet in there, but at least there's some seed in the ground. The trouble is that when it's real bouncy, oh look, that's fallen off, I need to put a new one on there, but when it's real bouncy, these drop down too far, and these are just rubber, but these bounce out, and it's a little bit annoying. Like, it still puts seed on the ground, just not quite in the groove. And after a while I sort of got sick of always putting them back in, so I just sort of left them for a bit. But at least there'll be seed there if we roll it. It should get that good contact. There's actually quite a bit of seed left in here, so maybe I'm putting it on a little bit too light. Maybe I need to go a little bit heavier and just crank it on. But that paddock over there, I think it might be a little bit too wet. It gets really wet down the bottom there, and I'm not sure if I'll get in there at the moment. Might need to let it dry out a little bit. It was pretty wet in places, even through here. Like, I didn't get just in there, it was too wet. So yeah, maybe I have to take my motorbike down and have a little quick look. Another thing that doesn't really help either is that most of these are sort of bent. So what happens, like that one there, that's a good example. So it doesn't line up very well. The tube it's supposed to come straight down into it, but it's offset because Mike's worker once upon a time borrowed it, well, not borrowed it, but he told him to go do some drilling, but don't back up in it. But he did, and when he went backwards with the discs, everything sort of just splayed out and bent. Anyway, it's time to put these girls on the feed pad, and the weather's sort of changed. It's got like cold, and it was drizzling. But this is the paddock that I'm going to come into now, or I'd like to get it done now, as long as it doesn't rain. Just another paddock that's really wet, and it's pretty much just from where I put that fence down this part. So I'm going to drill it now, and then put this fence just back across where it is, because the cows are going to come in there tomorrow, and just leave it. So then I can graze the top bit while this bottom bit grows. Right, here we go again. And Dad just helped me put the roller on. Would have been quite hard to do that by myself, to be honest. I was gonna put the rate up a little bit, but then I sort of had a look, and that end was actually empty, so I'm just gonna leave it and see how it goes. Or maybe I could put it up just a tad. It's actually closing it up pretty well, I reckon. That is definitely more closed with the roller behind it. You can see how wet it is. Everything's sticking to it. There's a lot of seed that's sticking to it too. It's just all mud from these wet areas. It is peat down here. Oh yeah. Might put the other bag in. See, it's just getting a little bit low. There's still seed going through the rollers, but it is getting a little bit low. It's come up really well though, I'm pretty happy with it, and the cows do sort of pug this a little bit more, so you can see how soft it is. So it's quite handy. It sort of knocked a couple of the bumps off. Look how soft that is. And then the roller flattened it a little bit. So it should hopefully come out alright, this bit. Like it wasn't going to grow much anyway, so yeah, it'll be interesting. The roller's not quite as wide as the drill, and there's a disc there that it's not covering, and there's one on the other side too, but it's getting majority of them, so not too worried. That's all the drilling done for today. I'm not going to try and back that thing in the shed. It'd be easy backing out, but you can just stay like that. I actually did the end of this paddock last night when I was sort of trying it out, so there are sort of lines through there. I just need to run a fence through there and sort of cut that end off, but it came up quite well. Like, it's actually hard to even see it's there. I also did the sort of corner of this paddock from roughly out here and then sort of at the base of that hill, so just through there, which I need a fence off. But it does get quite wet down the bottom here, so hopefully that'll grow quite well as well. I didn't have the roller on when I did both of these, so this one and then the other bit was just over the race there. The first paddock I did today is just over the drain there. It's a little bit annoying. I need to put a culvert from this paddock into that one because I've got to go all the way around to get there. It was the corner paddock before we had this block of land. But I've got the drill on at the moment, and my plan is to come and do this paddock tomorrow. This one's really patchy, so I just really want to get it done. It grows like alright grass sort of from up there that way, and I'm thinking I might just put a fence across, so I'll still get a break in there, but then I'm just going to do this bottom half. And the cows haven't been in here a while. You can sort of see big clumps of grass, but other than that there's like nothing. So I want to run the drill through it, try and get some more production out of this paddock. It's like a 2 hectare paddock, probably only grows grass on maybe a hectare of it. So by drilling I can sort of effectively gain another hectare, and if I can get another 6 or 8 ton of dry matter from it, like that is a massive saving and a massive improvement to what we've got at the moment. So that is the plan, and then I don't know, maybe I'll get Dad to go and roll those paddocks over there, and he can do the 2 little bits there as well, or maybe I'll shoot around and do those 2 little bits and he can bring the roller down and do them. I've also got to do that middle paddock, which I didn't get done because I think it's too wet, and there's also a real wet paddock back that way, so I don't think I'll get on at the moment. It would be nice just to go and knock everything out, and then everything will be ready to graze at the same time, but I don't know, I'll see how I go. But that'll pretty much do it for this video, guys. It's going to be pretty interesting to see once it germinates, see what it looks like. I mean, hopefully something's going to grow anyway. The seed's in the ground, so that's the main important thing. But give it a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. Apart from that, see you next time.